Hi, everybody. We are back again. And on the set today, I've got a very exciting guest. This is what I love about social media because I met him on social media. And yeah, I loved his story. So I've asked him to join us today. So on the chair, I've got Jake. And Jake Davey, he's from the UK. He's going to be telling us a very exciting story of career transition that he has done. But if you're finding us for the first time, please follow, subscribe, do everything that people do on social media, like, comment, and all those things. And Jake, thank you. Thank you for being with us today.
Mpume, thank you so much for having me. This is exciting. I've been looking forward to this. Thank you.
Thank you for making the time. So as I said, on this platform, people introduce themselves. They do a better job than I do. So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. My name is Jake Davey, and for the past 6 years almost, I've worked with thousands now of business owners, entrepreneurs across the UK, Europe, South Africa, North, South America, in fact, most parts of the world now, teaching them how to grow and monetize their audience on Instagram. So whether they are an existing business owner, a new entrepreneur, if they have their own products, if they don't have any products, how people can grow and monetize an audience on Instagram, how they can do that in a time efficient way, how they can do it actually in an enjoyable way, even if they're not using Instagram right now. They don't have to be an influencer. They don't have to put pictures of themselves up there. They don't have to put pictures of their coffee or their dogs, but they are able to express themselves and reach an audience and actually monetize one of the hottest platforms out there today. That's what we teach. We work with tens of thousands of people, and I love what I do, and I love the people that we get to work with as well.
Wow. But on a personal note, who is Jake? That's all about work, Jake, what you've just
That's
told
true.
us.
Yeah, that's all, I guess, all about the company. Who am I? Well, I'm based in the UK. I live in Manchester. I am 37 years old, even though I occasionally look 47. And yeah, my background, I was a teacher, so I worked in education for 8 years prior to transitioning online. I've now had an online business for 6 years, and that it really is me at this stage. Yeah.
Thank you for that. So that's the reason why Jake is here. So Jake was telling a story that he used to be a teacher, and now he runs this business that is making millions of pounds and helping people to make money on Instagram, which I thought was actually fascinating. But tell us a bit, Jake, about your career when you were still a teacher and how it came about for you to really transition from being a teacher to go into entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, as I said, I worked as a teacher for 8 years. When I left university, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Absolutely no idea. I didn't feel prepared in any way for the real world or the idea of getting a job. And I looked at all the different options that were available, and I did the thing that most people do, which is they look at their role models or people close to them and they copy them. And I copied my parents. Both of my parents were teachers. 5 out of my 6 aunties and uncles were all teachers, and so I thought, well, I'll be a teacher then. And I spent a few years training and getting trained. I worked in different schools. I got different experience, and I thought, yeah, I quite enjoy this. I was really enjoying it. I worked with some great staff. I worked with some great students, and I really enjoyed being able to help people and teach people, and see a change in people's lives as well. So for me, that was the main thing that I absolutely loved doing, and I got a big kick out of that for a long time. The change shift was when over the 8 years I actually worked in 4 different schools, which is a lot, I realized. And it was 2 years per school. One year, actually, I only stayed in the school for 1 year, and partly that was me changing a lot, but it was also the nature of the schools that we were in. They were quite challenging inner city schools. Staff turnover was quite high. And so because of those reasons, it ended up in 4 different schools. And I remember each time I was in a job or each time I was in a school thinking, I'm not fully satisfied. Maybe it's the school. And then I moved again and thought, I'm not fully satisfied. Maybe it's now the city that I'm living in. And then I moved again and I thought, no, it's not the city, it's not the school, it's actually just the job. And at that point, that was in the final year of teaching, I realized that I needed a change. And actually, well, prior to that, what had happened is I had kind of got promoted a few times, and I got to the point where I was in a position to apply for a job to work as one of the senior teachers and senior leaders in the school, and I got the job, which was very exciting for everybody, friends and family, and for me. And I did the job for 8 weeks, and I very quickly realized this isn't what I want to do. And so I actually stepped down from that position in the school, which wasn't received very well. What I realized is what I thought was the job I really wanted to do, and the progression I thought I wanted to get. When I actually got it, I thought I don't really want this at all. And that was quite scary, because suddenly I realized actually I don't know what I want to do. what am I supposed to do? But it also was a turning point, because it showed me I need change. Something has to change for this to get better and to improve. And that was the shock in a way, or the surprise in a way, that made me realize that I wasn't on the right path for me, needed to change. And at the end of that school year, I knew I couldn't turn down a promotion and then keep teaching. It wouldn't be right. So I knew to leave, and that's when I left teaching.
Wow. Can you imagine you get promotion and then 8 weeks later you're like, nah, no, this is not it.
Yeah. And I really did that. And the people, the teachers who promoted me and the staff who did my interviews and things, they weren't very happy. They weren't happy, and fair enough. They'd invested a lot of time and a lot of money to go through the interview process and things, but it wasn't right. And so yeah, I actually stepped down from that position, which was a big decision at the time.
Wow. And I think that element of moving and thinking it's about the school, maybe this school would be a bit different, and moving to a different city. And most people do that. You kind of keep at the job, and you think, maybe let me change the organization. Maybe it's not this one. Maybe maybe if I do the same thing but in a different industry, it will be better. But the feeling of just being unfulfilled just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. It's quite amazing. Yeah. So what happens then? What happens then after you realize I don't want to do this for the rest of my life?
Well, I knew I had to change, because I'd stepped down from the promotion. I knew I couldn't stay in the school any longer, not because they didn't want me there or because I wasn't doing a good job, but because I realized that I couldn't keep doing something that didn't have a long-term future. And so it was at that point that I handed in my resignation at the end of the year. And whilst all my other friends were buying houses and having children and getting married and such, I left my job and left my apartment and moved to the other side of the world and moved to Australia and started working out there. And it was the biggest change that I could possibly think of, far side of the world. But that at the time for me, that was a big challenge, to leave security and safety of family and job and all these types of things and go and do something totally different.
But what was the
scariest
plan?
thing I could do.
What was the plan?
Oh, there was no plan.
To Australia. There was no plan.
No plan. No, we had. I had enough money to live on for 2 months, and I knew that for 2 months I would be okay, and I didn't need to work. I could survive for 2 months, but after that I needed to work. And so the plan was to get a job. I knew I needed to work and find a job. There was no plan after that. It was arrive in Australia and find different work and find different options.
But
anything,
what job were you thinking?
anything,
Anything?
anything. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's funny because at the time it wouldn't matter. I'm pretty good at kind of getting stuff and working at different things and doing what needs to be done. And if I needed to survive and I needed to earn money, then I would have done any work that was available. Thankfully, a job that I did go for and that I did get was very enjoyable. I worked with some really good people. It set me up with some really good skills, even though the skills that I learned that I use today in my current business. And it worked out very, very well. But when I went out there the first time, and there was no plan whatsoever.
Wow. So how do you then get to start the business that you're in now?
So the business now it's a online marketing, and it's teaching people how to, as I mentioned before, how to use Instagram to grow their business and monetize Instagram. But I never had any intention of starting a business. I never had any intention that or idea about how to start a business, because I wasn't from a family and from an environment where people had a business. It wasn't familiar to me. So the major change that happened was when I left Australia after 12 months. I spent all my money, I'd done all the traveling, and I was planning on going back to be a teacher again because I didn't have a plan. I went and had a week in Fiji, and I figured, well, it's the last time I'm going to be over here for a while. I might as well go and have one great trip and spend some money and travel a bit and have a lot of fun. And so went to Fiji. And as luck would have it, or chance or fate or whatever you want to call it would have it, at the time I was out there, I bumped into someone at a beach. I literally walked into him on a beach over there. And this guy, his name was Paul, he was being paid to speak at an event and to teach people how to use Twitter for their business. And I was looking at this guy and I'm thinking, you're being paid to travel the world and to teach people and speak and such, and I'm spending the last of my money to travel and before going back and being a teacher. I want to know how you do this. How do you get to travel and teach at the same time? How do you get to do that? How does that even work? And so I spent the whole evening talking to him and trying to get as much information as I possibly could out of him. And he said, you need to get educated in this. You need to join. I would recommend join my program, go through the course, understand how it works, and then you will learn how it works and how it happens. And so that's what I did. I joined his program when I came back to the UK. I went through his course. I spent hours every day going through the training, and then I went to an event with him, and I got coached by him. I got mentored, and then the kind of story takes off from there, really.
Wow. And as you say, whether you believe in fate or God or whatever, it feels like it was meant to be kind of situation.
Yeah, it was interesting thing, because when I looked at him, when I first saw him, I wouldn't have had him down as a multi-millionaire person that was traveling the world and such. It wouldn't have struck me like that at all. But it was total chance. It was total chance that we'd be in the same place on the same beach at the same time, and that we'd even get on, and we'd be happy to talk to each other. But all those things aligned, and it's probably the most important meeting and that I've had on my, I'd say, business life, and then that's impacted in every area of my social life and family life and relationships as well.
Wow. And what lessons have you learned through this entrepreneurship journey?
How long have you got? Lots. I mean, so many. I wouldn't even know where to start, and I wouldn't even know which are the most valuable, because everybody listening will be at a different stage in their own journey, and so they will take what's relevant for them at this particular stage. I think some of the things that have stood out to me are the importance of getting mentored. the importance of getting coached and getting supported. For me, growing up, I wouldn't necessarily say it wasn't a hard and fast rule, but the idea that education, it almost stops when you leave school, or it stops when you leave university. And actually, that's not true. If you want to, I think the world is understanding this better now, but education is an ongoing thing. It's a lifelong thing. Well, where do you even start? I mean, I don't even know where to start. There are so many lessons that to try and even condense them into this amount of time. I mean, I don't know how long you've got, but I don't think I could manage to fit them into such a short space of time. And of course, everybody listening is at a different stage in their own journey, and so they will take something different based on where they are right now and what they feel they need to hear or what's going to guide them. I think probably one of the biggest lessons is the importance of getting support and getting education and getting coached, getting mentored, getting guided by somebody that's been there before, done this, and can help you see the shortcuts and even see the outcomes and things that maybe we don't see ourselves. So ultimately investing in yourself. You're investing in yourself, and you're getting support and mentorship and guidance. Now that might come in the form of an actual coach or a mentor. It might come in the form of a group or a network. It might come in the form of reading books and courses and trainings, maybe podcasts, YouTube videos. There's a whole range of them. And my suggestion would be actually a combination of all of those is going to be key, because to just stick to one form of that isn't going to be enough. I think investing in yourself, investing in ongoing support and education across a number of different mediums is the thing that's going to help, that helped me and continues to help me grow and learn more and achieve more. And that would probably be my biggest lesson that I would want to share with anybody that's listening today, is invest in yourself. And that doesn't, when people say investing, that doesn't mean that you have to spend lots of money and invest lots of money. If you have the opportunity to do that and get support by the right people, absolutely do it. But investing in yourself may just be setting aside time on a daily, weekly basis where you work on yourself and you improve yourself and you grow and you learn and you get educated. That would be my suggestion.
Yeah, no, I think that's it's something that I really, really always tell people. So in Zulu, which is my language, there's a proverb that says, you learn from the people that have walked the journey. And for me, that always just makes sense, that if you really want to get into, mainly in a business environment, how about learning from the people who've done it, so that you short circuit. They've paid the school fees anyway, and how about you just short circuit it for yourself?
Yeah, that's true. That's totally true. Yeah, that's totally true.
Yeah, but what do you wish somebody would have told you when you started?
Started the business, or
started
when I was
the
younger?
business? Yeah.
I guess I think the thing that I'd expected is that the success or the financial rewards or any of these things, it was a destination. I thought it was a destination. I thought you put a certain amount in and you got a certain amount out, and then you were done, and that was it. It was just I'll set this up and I'll earn some money, and then I don't have to worry about working again or doing anything again. And the reality is that that's just not the case. It's not a destination. I know it's quite cliche, but it really is about the ongoing journey and the ongoing process. And I think if the thing I wish maybe people did tell me, but maybe I didn't listen, is it's not a destination that you're going to get to and then you feel satisfied. It's an ongoing process and learning and journey and growth, and you'll get results and you'll get good things along the way. You'll get downsides along the way. But so long as you're clear on the bigger vision, the bigger goal and the bigger mission that you're working towards, all those things will work out and you'll actually enjoy them along the way.
And how do you know? Because when you got into this by mistake, if we might say it,
Yeah, yeah.
And now, how do you know that this is it? Or you're still, maybe you might wake up one day and go, nah, not this. I'm moving on to something else.
Um, I heard a nice phrase. There's a friend of mine. He has a podcast. It's called the Skill Stack, and I like the phrase of skill stacking. In that, I believe, and this is why I come back to the importance of investing in yourself, that there are skills that we learn ongoing that continue to improve us and mean that we can add more value to other people. The more value we add to ourselves, the more value we can add to other people. And so over the past few years, I've learned entrepreneurship. I've learned what it's like to run a business. I've learned sales. I've learned marketing, communication, managing a team, all of these different types of things, finance as well, personal finance, business finance. And so I think the exciting thing about that is that even if this isn't the right business, and it won't last forever, I know it won't last forever, but it's a stepping stone to the next thing. And the key thing is that if I have all the knowledge and learning and growth and development and continue to stack that and combine that, then it means the next thing I do, I hope will be, I wouldn't say easier, but it will be more attainable, and it will feel more natural and it will flow easier because of the skills that I've built along the journey.
Yeah. And thinking back, so this is what I usually tell my clients, mainly the ones that want to career transition, is that there's no skill that goes to waste, right? So as you're changing job, there are skills that you can transfer. So if you think back, what are the skills that you transferred from being a teacher into your business environment now?
Oh, being a teacher was probably the most important thing I could have done before doing what I do now. Without a doubt, I think teaching 8 years in the classroom, teaching 20 hours a week, I don't know how many hours that adds up to in total. And I know there's people that teach a lot longer than that, and some people that teach for their whole career. But that set me up perfectly to then go and be able to stand in front of 100 people or 1,000 people, or some events we've done 5,000 people, and teach them about online business. If I hadn't have done that in the classroom and learned those skills there, then it wouldn't have applied as well online, or in person events. So the teaching is definitely, it's been invaluable in so many areas of this business. The second is probably sales, in that when I worked in Australia, I worked for a sales company. It was a travel company, and we were selling trips around Australia. But there was a lot of things that I learned there from sales, which translated again into what I do now. And I get the most, well, I say the most enjoyment, a large amount of enjoyment from the sales side and the sales aspect and teaching sales to other people, because I know that when people do it right and they understand the dynamic of those conversations and those relationships, that they can ultimately generate more sales, which means that if their product is good and their service is good and their offer is good, then they're actually going to help more people. So that's the real goal there. But I think the teaching has undoubtedly had the biggest impact on being confident and comfortable talking in front of large numbers of people, and one-to-one, and relating to people one-to-one as well.
Yeah. And I think the fact that you are creating programs, which is you creating lessons, basically. Yeah. And that's what it is. Yeah. No, which I think is amazing. In your Instagram profile, you say you've helped more than 1,400 entrepreneurs to grow their businesses.
Yeah.
And over $14 million in sales.
Yeah.
Like, that's mind-boggling. Like, how?
I mean, I think if I'm honest, I think that the numbers are a little bit outdated now. They need updating. We've definitely,
so they're even higher, more than this now.
They will be now, from the number of people that we've worked with, but then also from the profits and sales that people have made. But that's I mean, we can't. I don't know if we could even keep up with that. But I think that's exciting. And I should emphasize that that, the clients that we work with, and those that have gone on and made great amount of money and been very successful, they've all done the work. I haven't done the work. I've maybe pointed them in the right direction and asked the right questions at the right time, but they've had to do the work. So the success is all theirs.
And so what's the next thing for you though?
The next thing for me with regards business,
with regards to the business, yeah,
I think when I started the business, I didn't have any idea about why people start businesses, or also even how a business might finish and how you might kind of move away from the business. And that's not to say that I want to move away from the business right now, but the type of business I have is what you might call a lifestyle business, which is marketed to a lot of people and sold to a lot of people in the idea of you fit the business around you. When you want to work, you work. When you don't want to work, you don't work. You create the lifestyle that you want and such, which is very much what I've designed now, but it's all very much about me. And what I would like to do and transition over the next few months, maybe a couple of years, is removing me from the business, where I don't have to be the expert. I don't have to be the face of the business, but we can bring other people in, and we've got really good structures and systems that the business can increasingly run without me and without my time and without me being in there, so that if I'm not the bottleneck, then we can actually help more people. And I think that's an important thing, is that at the moment I'm still the bottleneck, without a doubt. I know that the company can only grow as fast as I grow in the time that I have available. So the next step is now, how do we duplicate my knowledge and experience and what I've, I guess, brought so far to the company, so that I can remove myself and we can actually reach and help more people.
Yeah. And how do you choose your clients? But maybe I think the question is also, why did you choose Instagram as the platform? Why not Facebook? Why not Twitter? Why not LinkedIn or whatever? Yeah.
Part of it was total chance, and part of it was total luck. I'll be honest. I think if it had been Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube or any of these platforms, I'd like to think it still would have worked. We would have it would have worked. There was, when I started this, and knowing that I didn't want to go back into teaching or anything like that, there was no doubt that it wasn't going to work. It had to work. It was going to work. But I think the great thing with Instagram is that at the time in 2016, when I started, it was a well-known platform. It was growing, absolutely, but it wasn't anywhere near as big as it is today. And at the time, it was growing about 100 million new users every 3 or 4 months, every quarter. So it was really accelerating, and it continues to be. It's still one of the biggest platforms in the world. And until there are major shifts, I would predict, I guess, either cryptocurrency related or VR related, then it's going to be around for a long time. And so I think it was the right place at the right time, maybe with the right attitude. And those were all the things combined that made it work. But if we started again, it was with a different platform. Or if I started today, it was with a different platform. It's just about making sure that making the choice right, rather than making the right choice.
Yeah. And you choose your clients how? So how do you choose these are the people you're comfortable working with? So
the main area and main focus for clients is, and it's not always hard to quantify, but I would like to identify it as, or the phrase that we've landed on at the moment, which could always be improved, is life-giving businesses. And so the idea of a life-giving business is it could be a service, it could be education-based, it might be coaching, it might be a speaker or author, trainer, entrepreneur, but it's the type of people that have a bigger mission and bigger vision. They want to, the product that they offer, or the service that they offer, or the skill that they have, adds value to other people. It doesn't take away, it's not negative. I guess the extreme example I would go the other side would be gambling, for example, or I don't know, cigarettes or something like that you wouldn't determine as a, and that's not to say you shouldn't or shouldn't smoke. That's fine, but But it's more just a case of I wouldn't identify those as life-giving businesses. Whereas we work with a lot of coaches and consultants and healers and teachers and authors and health experts and such. And at least for me, these people are all contributing or trying to contribute in a way that adds value to other people and adds value to a global community.
Yeah, and I think that's fascinating. And that part of you having been a teacher was not a mistake, Jake. It was still contributing to everything that you're going to do for the rest of your life.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. So what is the one thing that you'd like somebody to take out of our conversation today in terms of career transitioning?
Yeah. I think we never regret the things that we do, but we sometimes regret the things that we don't do. And for me, the biggest, I had a conversation about this over the weekend, and I think the only regret I have with teaching is that I didn't leave it sooner. I did it for 8 years, and I could have left after 5 years or 6 years or even 4 years. But I don't have it as a massive regret, because all of the things that I did will have contributed to me being better at what I do today. So my suggestion would be, if somebody's in that stage of transitioning and making that transition, it's being able to surround yourself with people. Firstly, it's taking action and doing it and taking that leap. And then the second thing is then mapping out a journey and having a step-by-step. You won't have all the answers. It's like a sat nav. You're not going to be able to see every single turn and every single road that you need to take to get from A to B. But if you have the first steps, that's the only thing that you can take. And if you've got the first steps, and you've got people supporting you with that, then go with it 100%.
Wow, thank you for that. And thank you for taking the time to speak to me today. So where do people find you on social media? I know it's on Instagram.
Of course, yeah. Instagram is a good place. So it's my full name. It's Jake Adam Davey, Davey. Jake Adam Davey is where you can find me on Instagram. You're also welcome to, and I'd say if people want to watch a training, we have a free training available. That's on the website. It's jakeadamdavey.com/brand, and you can access one of our free trainings there as well.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jake. I really appreciate your time. I know you're hectic, but you did make the time, and I highly appreciate that.
Pleasure. Thank you so much as well for the invitation, and I love what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing, because it's definitely having an impact. And so I'm grateful for what you're doing as well. And thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank
you. So to anybody who's been watching us, please make sure that you comment, you like, you share, and we would love to get some feedback of what you think of our Change Conversations. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in our next episode.